sports? Do you like beer? Do you love sports and beer? Then you're exactly where you need to be. This is the Hughes, Views, and Brews Show on 1252 Sports Chicago. Cheers.
You are listening to 1252 Sports Entertainment. Parental discretion may be advised.
Woo! It's about that time. FatMike, Chicago Sports. Yeah. Finally here. Shot City Sports is right here. Updates on news, get it here. No rumors, cause we keep it real. FatMike. Sit back, relax, sugar beer, one of them nights.
Hey, this is Carmen DeFalco from ESPN Chicago, and you're listening to the FatMike Sports Show.
Hey, this is Dave Richard from ChicagoSports, and you're listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hi, this is Jesse Rogers for the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hey everyone, I'm Scott Merkin, the longtime White Sox beat writer for MLB.com and proud graduate of the University of Michigan. You're listening to me on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
This is Chuck Arfine, and you are listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. It's the best.
Hey, what's up? This is Greg Braggs Jr. from Braggs in the Stands, and you're listening to my guys on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. Boom!
Hey everyone, Freddie Huebner from ESPN 1000. Great to be on the FatMike Chicago Sports Show. I'm Dan Zaborski, senior writer for Fangraphs, and you're listening to FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
I'm JJ Stankovitz from NBCSportsChicago.com and the Undercenter podcast, and you are listening to the FatMike Chicago Sports Show.
Hey Sparkle, you know what I listen to? It's the FatMike Chicago Sports Show with my guy, Fat Mike. If you listen anywhere else, no jock. Listen to Fat Mike. The best.
Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to 12-2 Sports Chicago. We are on a special night here tonight. We are here live and in person at the Whistle Sports Bar and Grill Studios here in downtown beautiful Lockport, Illinois. We got two very special guests. Obviously, Fred didn't do a show last night. I'm not doing my show tomorrow night. We're doing a jam-packed combo show with two very special in-house guests, Carmen DeFalco and Mark Giangreco. Welcome, guys. How's it going?
It's great, man. It's Italian night. Although I'm here for the after party, actually.
Yeah. There we go.
I got to tell you, it took me like an hour and a half to get here.
Wow.
You're
coming all the way from the city.
So you better feed me after this.
Oh, listen.
Actually, it was okay once I got through customs.
Yeah,
Then,
right. It's not as bad, man. The drive's not as bad for me. It's not bad for these guys.
No.
But yeah, come from the city's rough. But Mark brought gifts. So
I
he
did. I got to take care of you guys.
He bought the best gifts.
Look at this.
Yeah. The best gifts are the gifts to drink.
Yeah, they are. He's got a 10-year whistle pig. Come on.
Yeah.
But it's the gift of conversation that we're here.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And we'll have a lot of it too.
We got a lot to get into tonight.
I sat and watched TV for 4 hours today, waiting for the White Sox to make a trade.
Yeah, don't hold your breath.
And at 5 o'clock, they said, Whit Merrifield's been traded. I said, good. He just changed
Cross the locker room. Cross
Exactly.
the clubhouse.
And then they go, he's gone to Toronto. Like, what the fuck?
So
The best thing is he's not vaccinated.
No, I
guess
know.
he'll get vaccinated now.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure.
vaccinated now for sure. Yeah, driving in tonight, it was unbelievable. White Sox fans jumping off the bridge, Cubs fans as well.
Cubs
But-
fans too.
Okay, let's do the Cubs first, okay?
We have to.
This is like just
They're
we'll
more
get it
horse
out
shit
of the
than the
way.
White
We'll just
Sox.
get out of the way.
Seriously, let's get him out of the way.
The
That's
fact
how bad
that
it is.
you were so arrogant and overestimated the Contreras and Happ perspective deals. They asked for too much. They got shut down.
Yeah.
How embarrassing is this? So, Contreras, who's so emotional, I mean, he's probably happy he gets to stay for the year.
Do they hug it out again at the end of the year?
Yeah, right.
Today,
There's a lot of hugging and
I
crying.
didn't think Happ was actually going to go, but this thing is now they're never going to get what they wanted for Contreras. He's never going to get what he wants on the open market. They totally screwed that up. It is embarrassing and horrifying. Other side of town, You got people screaming for Rick Hahn's head and everything else. Tony's asleep in the dugout again.
Literally, first inning.
Unbelievable.
First inning.
And that's a meme that'll live forever.
See, that's what managers have to do in the American League. You put the lineup up, you fall asleep till about the 6th.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you play Kansas City, I guess. You know what I mean? It should
And
it
then
should
lose
be
to
an easy
Kansas
win.
City. But it's pathetic that they could not make a deal. And what's worse, Rick Hahn says publicly, really tried, but we failed. We're really disappointed we blew it.
We know you are too.
Why do you admit that? Why don't you say we couldn't get what we wanted? The fact is their farm system is horrible, and they have no depth, even though they have supposedly great players on their roster who are not performing. And the excuse is, well, you know what? We're going to be fine when we're healthy because we're playing 700 baseball when we're healthy. When were you ever healthy? And it's all about.
I was going to say it's like a 10-game season.
And it's all about Luis Robert coming back.
Yeah.
So I am so glad that I don't watch baseball anymore. I'm being retired. I am a casual fan. I haven't watched one Cub game or Sox game.
I've watched about 3 Cub games. So
maybe an
I don't have
inning
Marquee
here and there.
anymore, so I can't watch anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're not missing anything with Marquee.
No, it sounds like when the Padres got Soto, that blew the Cubs deal to hell. That's what it sounds like. That it was going to be Happ and Contreras. And Jesse had been reporting that it sounds like they were close. They were talking, and some of the prospects that went to Washington, the Cubs were going to get. And the minute they were able to get the Soto deal done today, it blew that deal to smithereens, obviously. And then they never were able to recover and find that team. I'm still a little surprised they couldn't find a way to get it done with the Mets. I mean, I thought the Mets could really use Contreras.
Oh, I agree.
Last little piece.
Not only that, the thing I called a couple weeks ago. I called last week when I was near bullshitting by myself. I called last week teams that were dark horse teams for Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ. Minnesota Twins.
Yeah.
Twins, maybe.
They
did some other stuff.
Gary Sanchez.
The Twins made some moves.
Catcher.
They got better.
Well, they needed pitching, and they got
They
it.
needed pitching, but I mean, they're not getting any offensive production out of their catcher role.
No, none.
With Gary Sanchez, he's dog shit.
But what do you think?
Let's get real.
What do you think about? Look, my theory is Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't care anymore. He's old. He doesn't need to win anymore. He just wants to keep making money, and so does Michael. So they're not going to make the effort, and then. Everybody's blaming Rick Hahn and they want him fired. I always thought Rick did all the dirty work and never got the credit. And Kenny Williams was the front guy and got all the credit. And Reinsdorf with the Bulls and the Sox, all he does is kick people upstairs. They keep creating new positions.
You fail up.
Looking at a broader perspective and all this stuff and not doing day-to-day stuff. I always thought Hahn was one of the smartest guys ever. He's an Ivy Leaguer. And, during the so-called heydays, he was instrumental in making some really good deals. But he has totally blown it. He's double clutched on so many things. But look, he didn't want La Russa.
No.
And I'm sure a lot of people have intervened and told him we're going to go this way or we're not going to do anything at all. And he's been this professional gentleman by not saying, my hands have been tied. That's what
I go back and forth on this. I mean, sometimes I think, we all assume because Rick is Harvard and Michigan educated and maybe even Northwestern. I think he has like a degree from each school, which is insane. Yeah. We always think he's the smartest guy in the room, and he might be. He might not be as smart at baseball as we think. I mean, they continue to struggle drafting players by and large and developing their own players. TA's been a nice hit for them, Andrew Vaughn too. But really, under Kenny and Rick's watch over the last 20 years, other than some outstanding pitchers, when it comes to positional players, and Freddie knows, I mean, they've been brutal. And a lot of the trades have been bad. I think sometimes we overestimate how smart he is when it comes to baseball. I do think he's a little hamstrung because of the owner, Mark. You're probably right, but this was a flawed roster. Of course, he didn't want Tony, and Tony's an embarrassment, but this is still a flawed roster. You could have had Kyle Schwarber. They never even called him. They've loved Jock Peterson for years. I don't know why that ended because he could have gotten Jock probably for a 1-year deal. Either one of those guys.
Jock is the ultimate rent-a player.
Yeah,
he can play on 19 teams
everywhere,
but he's always performing.
Hit 25 home runs from the left side. I mean, they have Luis Robert and Jose Abreu are their high home run guys right now. 12 home runs. God. Gavin Sheets, Moncada, and Grandal. 2 of those guys are switch hitters. But when we talk about they have to be the lefty power, those 3 guys have 15 combined home runs. 15 on August 2nd.
Here's the embarrassing and insulting part for Sox fans. To make the token call about
the Ohtani.
Oh,
that was just
okay. So is that
knowing
bullshit?
It's bullshit. There's nothing. Oh, we got to make the call and say we made the call. What are you going to give? You have nothing in your farm system, and you're going to gut what's supposed to be this young championship roster. I mean, there were actually people saying they had an outside shot at the World Series, or they were at least going to win the division with this team, and then win the World Series next year. This has been trash now. And look, this is old school thinking, and everybody says this, but the way your team plays a reflection of your manager's personality. And Tony's asleep at the switch. I should be an AARP booster. I should be supporting him.
You're like 8 years younger than him.
Right. But only 7 years younger. And I'm in that bad.
And you don't want to manage.
I'm in that bad decade.
And you don't want to manage. But you're not going to fall asleep in the first inning, are you?
No.
No.
You don't think so?
I might need some,
I got my Medicare card this year. So I'm on Medicare this year. So this is the first time. So,
but he's falling asleep before the game even started.
I usually fall, but the problem is
78 managing in the big league.
You needed a second baseman and a right fielder. Not this year. You needed it last year.
Yeah.
And they never got it.
They tried with Cesar Hernandez, that failed.
Yeah. They kept, and he hit 20-some homers in Cleveland.
And he hit like 4.
Yeah, it was crazy how bad he was. But you can't keep running Lurie Garcia out there.
No.
And you can't keep running Vaughn and Sheets, who do everything they can do in right field. They're not right fielders.
No. Do you think, though, they can still win this awful division?
Yeah, but the thing is, no one can beat.
No,
I think they can win it.
I think they can.
Nobody can beat. None of the other 4 teams can beat Houston or the Yankees.
I don't think so.
No, we
They
know
can't
that.
beat
I'm just talking about the Sox actually
know.
being in the postseason and maybe advancing to then get their ass kicked.
Yeah,
But,
I think they still can because it's just a lousy division.
I
Although
agree.
the Twins were good today. I mean, I thought what the Twins did in the last 24 hours or so should help them. I still think the Sox, if they can get everybody healthy, are probably the most talented team. October can be weird, so you never know, but it's hard to envision anybody beating the Yankees or the Astros. Maybe Toronto, but Toronto's awfully right-handed. They've got some of the same issues the White Sox have. They're awfully right-handed, but they're really talented.
What about
and they
this
can
is
pitch.
the difference, though. Toronto has some decent pitching.
Well, they do. There's no question. Manoah's
Barrios,
awesome.
And, they got, who's the other guy that's up there?
Hausman.
Kevin Gausman.
They need Barrios to be a 3. And Barrios thinks he's a 1.
Right.
He's not.
He needs to be a 3.
Yeah.
And if he
Manoah's
can be a 3, you got those 3 because Manoah's amazing.
Manoah's a stud. They're very right-handed, but they can hit. We know that.
If you didn't like Manoah before the All-Star game, if you watch the All-Star game,
he's awesome.
Just listening to him was awesome.
He's a good dude.
He's
And he knows how to handle the media and has since
Yes,
an
he
early
does.
age. What about in the other league? Were you surprised the Brewers traded Hader? They're in first
You know
place.
what? That made that trade made absolutely zero sense to me.
He's having the worst year of his career. I mean, I know the save number is good. He's got the most saves, but
29
statistically, he's for the first time in his career, his ERA plus is below 100.
So Devin Williams moves in.
I would think Devin Williams moves in.
Okay.
Yeah, who's probably younger and better.
I
at
didn't
this
get it.
point.
That's why I'm here to have this explained to me.
Well, I understand.
I think Devin Williams
I
moves
understand
in.
he's coming towards the end of his deal, and the Brewers are going to have to pay him.
Yeah.
And they still have Lorenzo Kane on the line.
I don't think they're going to miss a beat with Devin
But, I
Williams
mean,
going to
But no, he's got one less save and less. He has a fewer ERA.
and they probably try to get something more out of Taylor Rogers.
What's
that
also
San Diego wasn't
insulting
getting.
in talking about that and the Padres and what San Diego's
How about
doing.
San Diego?
Just
Everybody's
what size
the Padres
market
make
is
another trade.
27th.
27th market?
I think out of the 30 baseball teams, I think I heard our very own Jeff Meller just say it today. I think he
Oh
said
my
San
God.
Diego is the 27th
I didn't know it was
market
that small.
of the 30 big league teams.
And look
27th?
what they're
That's
doing. The
crazy.
Sox couldn't do anything, and they are just opening the checkbook. This is ridiculous. And San Diego is always, the Dodgers are number one in LA,
Oh, man.
and the Angels are a distant second, but the Padres are a forgotten team in California. And now they're actually trying to win it. It's
Unbelievable.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
The thing is, I mean, let's get down to the brass tacks here. They just picked up Juan Soto today.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look, they were the more aggressive pursuer a couple of years ago for Manny Machado. They got it. They went out and they made the trade with the Cubs for Yu Darvish. They traded for Mike Clevenger. They traded for Blake Snell. They just traded today for Juan Soto. They traded for Josh Hader. I mean, think about it. Like they are
they just
all
got
in
Josh
on
Bell.
all of them. Josh Bell too is in that deal.
Yeah,
And I would
that's
have
the
taken
kicker.
Josh Bell on the Sox.
That's the kicker
Well,
of
he
that
can't
deal.
play anywhere. I mean, on the Sox.
Well, he
He's
can-
another first baseman DH.
Right.
Outfield,
Yeah, but you
outfield
go
too.
down.
He
Outfield
can't
too.
play the outfield.
You've got Vaughn. You'd have Vaughn, Sheets, Abreu.
Brady, he
Yeah.
can't play the outfield.
Yeah.
Josh Bell is a stud.
He can hit, but there's nowhere for him to play.
He's always been able to hit. One of his first games, I think, was against the Cubs.
He can hit.
When he first came
I'm
in.
trying to
the big
remember
leagues, I
who traded
He
Tatis Jr.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
don't let
See, that's Carmen's biggest thing. Now, and every
Really?
time I would hear Carmen mention it, I would always say to myself, "I'm driving in the car. I hear Carmen mention Tatis. They go, he was 17.
I
know.
Nobody knew.
Right.
He was
I
gonna be
know,
this
but still,
good.
it still sucks.
I
That
know.
game
Came up
shield.
again today.
I know.
But the Padres are amazing in what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they are.
You're trying to beat the Dodgers, which
It's not going to happen.
It's hard to do because they are so far and above everybody else in terms of how smart they are, the farm system they continue to build, the talent they've acquired, the money that the guys got to spend. I mean, that's the smartest guy in baseball. Oh, and he has unlimited dollars.
Well,
that's why
this is the guy that
juggernaut.
He was down there in Tampa Bay too.
Yeah.
All right. When Tampa Bay had zero money.
Well, now he's got his brains combined with money.
Yes.
And now they're going to the playoffs for a 10th straight year.
Best thing about the Padres, back to old school, brown and yellow with the old logo.
Love it.
The swinging monk.
How surprised are you, though, that the Dodgers didn't get Soto? That it probably came down to Dodgers, Padres, or Cardinals.
Or maybe Cardinals.
Yeah. Right. Because Cardinals made the most logical sense to me, anyways.
But it got to the point where it wasn't fair, so they had to back off. Because the Dodgers can go by anybody. It's still Yankees, Dodgers. They can go by anybody they want.
You've never seen a trade where the other team gave up not one, not two, but 4 first-round draft picks.
And all 3 of the 4 were what, top 20 in all of baseball?
Right.
Probably top 20, 25 prospects in all of baseball. That's incredible. Well, you need a haul like that to get.
But what kind of minor league system could they have possibly had when they just what they give the Cubs? They gave the Cubs their 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th a couple of years ago, right?
It's it. They keep doing it. They're just like they're another team that's built its farm system up well. They've got the assets to be able to do it.
But they were a team that sucked for a long time too, as well. So they got a lot.
They
of
did.
prospects. You know what I mean?
Like they're going for it now. You've got an owner that's finally willing to spend money. You've got a very aggressive GM, and obviously they're good at talent acquisition and their international signings, their draft. It's been good. And if you've got the farm system backed up with the team that's ready to win, that's what those are that should be the envy. That's what the White Sox and Cubs should be that.
How would you like to be a farmhand in the Dodgers system, though? You're never going to play.
I know.
No,
right?
you have to get out of there.
Yeah,
unless you're a pitcher,
the Cubs.
Unless you're a pitcher, it seems like the Dodgers are a new fucking starting ace every other year.
You want to get traded?
You
probably do.
I mean, look at Dustin May. Dustin May last year.
May got hurt. Yeah, too bad.
He got hurt. Too bad of injury.
You know, remember some of the rumors a year ago were that the White Sox were interested in Gavin Lux. My God, why couldn't they have done that?
I don't know.
They just
can't
can't
play
pull
outfield.
the
He can
trigger.
play second base.
Yeah,
he's the guy that go to work.
I think Mike North said it best. They're always in there and they're always talking about it. Will always tell you they made the effort and they've never ever gotten the guy.
No.
One sidebar. I've been watching the Captain on ESPN.
Yeah,
it's
Jeter.
awesome.
The Derek Jeter. And I'm like,
I think it's
I haven't
great.
seen an episode of it.
I mean,
yet.
for me, I'm like, who cares? I'm not a Yankee fan. So what about Derek Jeter? He's tremendous. Every episode is spectacular.
Yeah.
Every guest is great. But a sidebar in watching that is you realize all the great players the Yankees just signed, the guys were toward the tail end of their career, but they were still contributing. Rock Reigns and David Justice and whoever they needed. You got, oh my God, I forgot that.
Yeah, it worked.
He got a ring, and they just went and got everybody.
Their farm system was awesome. Too,
Yeah.
though. That's
the
other thing.
And the one thing you realize too, I mean, and they all came up. They haven't really talked much about it, but the 4 guys that came up.
Bernie.
It was Bernie,
Jeter, Posada, Mariano Rivera.
Right. So those 4,
Andy Pettit.
Right.
I mean, those,
it's on. But the one thing,
even guys like Scott Brocious, and I mean,
I fucking hated that.
And then he had Aaron Boone hit the home run. Aaron Boone, who was doing crap. He comes up and lead off on the extra innings. He hits a home run.
I still hate Aaron Boone to this day.
Aaron effing Boone.
It's a great show. And the one thing that shows you is, and I think we learned it from the Last Dance too. Michael Jordan wanted to win every game. Derek Jeter, from what we've seen, wants to win every damn game. Forget these people that say there's 162. It doesn't matter. He can win. No, you got to win every game.
He's got that same killer instinct, and they had a soundbite of Jordan saying that.
Yeah,
they did.
And that's what you need, and we haven't seen that here in this town.
They tell the guys not to run to first base for crying out loud.
Exactly. All 5 of them. When he said 5 guys that are in the starting lineup, we're told not
that was
to hustle.
another really
if it's a
horrible PR move. That was a pathetic thing to say. It's like, don't you guys? I mean, look at Tony. On one hand, has a right to be extremely arrogant, Hall of Famer, second most wins of all time. Nobody's going to come close to him. But now he's senile and old, and he's tired. But he's still so arrogant. You see his post-game news conferences, and people ask him pointed questions. Why didn't you take him out then? Why didn't you pinch hit? And he's just like, and then he gives some bullshit answer, and then he's like, you don't even know, you don't know baseball.
Like the Trey Turner,
I'm the king.
Thing, walking Trey Turner with 2 strikes. I mean,
I didn't want to bring. You know what happened after he walked Trey Turner with 2 strikes?
He forgot.
Then he fell asleep at the wheel in the parking lot.
But the one thing about that though is he had the answer, And remember when Joe Madden got let go earlier this year? What Joe Madden talked about? Joe Madden was one of the main analytics guys in Tampa and everything else.
They were first.
And he said, listen, the analytics are great, but you got to have a nice mix. And sometimes the analytics take over. And the Angels are guys that are big analytics guys. Tony had all the answers saying, listen, did you know what Trey Turner's numbers are with this? Do you know what months these numbers are with this? He had all the answers. Sometimes I don't want my guys to know all these numbers. Know them before the game. But once the game's starting, just play it by.
I'm convinced he had the count wrong. I'm convinced he thought it was.
I'm
convinced.
absolutely
100% convinced.
I think so.
100%. And he thought it was 2-1 instead of 1-2. I'm 100%.
Because remember when
there's no explaining walking a guy with two strikes. There's none.
Just throw the ball outside. Let him.
Okay, I'm so old that I got here in '82 when Tony was he was about to be fired, but he was the young, hot, cool manager.
And he was always a dick.
Yes, he was.
He was an ass back then.
You know what? I got along with him really well for whatever reason. Because I was a dick too, I guess. But you think back, and the way he handled the bullpen was innovative.
Oh, that's true.
Batting the pitcher eighth, doing that whole thing. It was like all these new innovative things. But then, the Oakland A's years and the Cardinal years and all the titles. But at the end of the Cardinal era, not knowing who was up in the bullpen, that's when it started in the World Series. So
when he was 68. Which is old to be managing in the big leagues.
Really,
and you're right, and he almost cost them. I mean, he made a mistake.
68 was old to be on the air.
I mean, 68, get up there. Let's face it.
Right.
You should be enjoying the sweet life like Marky is now.
Like
Freddie is.
Greatest life on earth, don't we, Fred?
They're living the sweet life.
There's nothing better.
What do you don't want to grind away anymore? I mean, come on.
Look how tan this fucking
I know.
Hey,
what the fuck? You think you
beach,
get this
pool, bike, golf, repeat. That's my retirement.
One of my buddies is retiring today. It's his last day at work. And I sent him a message quoting Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Because on the Corona commercial, he says, the best plans are no plans.
Oh.
That's exactly
when
correct.
You're that age, that's what you should be doing.
I thought it was rolling down the street smoking Nindo.
No. But I do have his Blur album, which nobody believes.
Really?
Yeah. It's a great album.
You need to take your buddy's phone and drop it.
Drop it in the ice.
Drop it like it's hot.
Well,
I don't get why anybody is
Snoop Dogg today.
So here's my question. We could really put a screeching halt to this podcast if we start talking hockey in the AFL.
Well, that's true. Screeching halt.
So we'll keep it to baseball and we'll do some
Bears
Bears
also.
also.
We can do some
Bears, football.
We got some hockey guys.
Football and baseball.
Well, we could talk hockey off the air
He loves
because
hockey too.
I do too, but I mean, come on, they're fucking
Matt,
hawks
our
right
producer,
now.
cameraman here, that it's very, it's very provincial. We're the only ones that care. And now I'm boycotting the Blackhawks forever.
I mean,
so
who's going to watch? No one's going to watch it. Who's the guy? Who's the announcer? Chris Foster?
Yes, I think.
And if they had that Colby Cohen guy as the analyst, this guy is like a 12th grader doing a New Trier Loyola game. I mean, it is so amateurish. It's so bad. Chris Foster's, he's the new breed guy. He's got the big voice. He's perfect. He's very good, but he's got no grit.
He's got He's what I call a generic announcer.
He is.
And I gave that to Joe Davis a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Black and Abdallah got all over my ass, and they said he is a generic announcer. No, he's a generic announcer.
But
he's never going to say something.
Wait a minute.
That you're going to agree with or disagree with or have a feeling about.
That might be.
But wait a minute. He is now Fox's number one guy.
I know.
But you notice when he did his first game, when he did the All-Star game with Smoltz, there was a little Joe Buck in there. There was a little bit. So I think as he gets more comfortable, he might be a little bit of a smart ass. He might say something, but he is Mr. Big Voice Perfect. Hey, we're lucky we have Amin and Benetti.
Yeah.
The two young guys.
Don't say that around Freddie.
You don't like?
Oh, Benetti's.
You know what? Well, look at Benetti is very.
There's a Zanies. He thinks there's a Zanies waiting on the corner.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm sorry.
He's great doing all the national stuff.
Yes, he is.
Because he's not with Steve Stone, and Steve Stone tries too hard, and they do this giddy, stupid shit.
Yes.
And half of it doesn't go anywhere.
It's
and they're
very
trying
jokey
too
at
hard
times.
to be funny.
Do you know how hard it is to watch White Sox baseball on mute? I mean, they can't score a run anyway.
I actually prefer
DJ on.
Well, that's
it's harder.
I like Connor. When
Connor's terrific.
I've done 3 days in a row.
Connor's terrific.
3 days in a row. Len Casper's done TV with.
Yes. Benetti was going to Connor.
Well, I saw something today that Benetti turned down something.
No. He got Fox.
He's doing National Fox.
Yeah, National
He's
Fox.
the number 2 guy behind with Brock Heward.
Right.
For
Sox games on mute.
college.
That's how Tony was.
So
that's what Tony's doing.
Now, does that mean he's done with the Sox now?
No. But see, now the trend is
Stop it.
There would have been fireworks out behind my house.
the trend is you've got
And I
your
love he's
the
a
big
great guy.
boomers.
Sylvie used to always say he's a great guy. I don't give a shit. I'm a great guy too. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But you want a guy that's
Who said you're a great guy?
Some people.
I
say
the guy I got this beer from. So it was a
No,
great
but the
guy.
thing is now you've got your main play-by-play guy and you got your main analyst, but you got all these other guys coming in and out. Like Marquee is run by New York guys.
Oh, man.
So they think
Marquee's the worst fucking network.
it's the
on the
worst
planet.
thing I've ever seen. The studio people are awful. It is
If I
mushy.
want to watch 1984 fucking women's tennis
Yes.
finals,
Well,
Marquee's the place
see,
to
they
go.
need to fill programming and they don't have it. The other thing is, it's really a Bush League presentation, and they have way too many former Cubs. Half of them I never even
Well, I
heard
mean,
of.
some of the former
Right.
Cubs, like,
And-
how are you picking these guys? I mean,
It's ridiculous.
Ryan Sweeney?
But
what?
They played like 6 months.
Like
Judge.
the theory of the Marquee people is more is better. No, just do your two guys, and they're it.
Yeah.
And that's who you identify with.
You Chuck
And I
Awesome.
still will never get over the Len Casper move. I don't understand. I know Len's a different kind of guy. He's terrific, but now he's doing TV and radio, and he just wanted to do radio, and he took a huge pay cut to go to the South Side. But
Yeah, I'm glad we have him.
to each his
Yeah,
own.
I love
he
him.
should
miss
be.
Len.
He's
I miss
great.
Len.
He's very
I
good.
love Len.
I think I'm the only Cub fan on the panel here, right? All you guys are Sox fans.
Yes.
All right, so I miss
Shame
Len.
on you.
I miss Len.
But I've done a lot of music trivia with Len. So
Oh, yeah,
he's a
he's-
very versatile
Yeah.
Renaissance.
He's very good. He's very skinny too, just like Carmen.
He runs a lot too, I think. That's
Yeah.
why. I think Len's a runner.
Are you a runner?
I'm a runner.
Yeah. I only run to the bars and that's it.
I sometimes I run to the bar.
I do beer runs.
Yeah,
That's what
beer runs.
Yeah.
I do beer runs every once in a while too.
I do beer runs.
I can't run to get out the paper. You know, I don't even get the paper anymore.
Get the paper.
Get the paper.
That's an antiquated thing.
Yeah,
Who's
that's
running
right.
to get the paper?
Guys, really quick before we start talking some Bear stuff, we got a couple quick little hits from a couple of our sponsors here.
I'm glad you got sponsors.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Hey, how
Hey.
about that?
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot of great sponsors here at 1252. Sit back, relax, hear a couple words from a couple of our sponsors, and we will be right back talking some Bears talk. Be right back.
Hello, this is Paul from Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. We are located at 1026 South State Street in historic downtown Lockport, Illinois. We are very excited to be partnering up with the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show, as well as the 1252 brand, because we are one of the few Chicagoland breweries that embrace sports and sports culture. Come in for a fresh brewed beer made right here in Lockport while catching the game of your favorite team. Stay for the live music that we have booked every weekend, or just come for a cozy atmosphere to enjoy a good conversation with a friend, loved one, or complete stranger. Nick and Ivy makes you feel right at home no matter what the occasion is. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. Visit our website for our up-to-date tap list or to go shopping on our online store at nickivybrewing.com. That's Nikivy brewing.com. Come in today for a fresh brewed beer born and raised in Lockport, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Darren, licensed real estate broker with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group in Homer Glen. Are you looking to buy or sell? Have you been disappointed in the past? The Jonathan Darren team with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group focuses on providing you with a concierge level of service during the process of buying or selling. We are a service-oriented team with a fresh and professional approach to selling real estate. Our goal is to combine knowledge, skills, and passion to exceed our clients' expectations, and most of all, we truly care. We are a knowledgeable real estate team focused on offering expertise and innovative solutions for our clients. The Jonathan Darren team has 5 full-service real estate brokers and a dedicated full-time marketer servicing all of Chicagoland. We will customize a detailed plan around your timeline for a sale, purchase, investment, estate, or other needs. Real estate transactions can be stressful, but don't need to be. Let us handle it for you. Visit our website, homesbyjdt.com, or call 708-308-1938 today. Expect better in real estate. Choose the Jonathan Darren team.
Hi, this is Kathy O'Connell at Coach's Corner, located at 8118 West 143rd Street in Orland Park. Our phone number is 708-364-1026. We are Orland Park's #1 sports bar. Come in for our wonderful beer menu and seltzers with a fully stocked bar. Watch a game, drink a beer, and try something off our amazing menu. We have everything to choose from: nachos, potato skins, and our house-made bar chips to start off with. Then try our tacos, burgers, and one of our delicious sandwiches. And don't leave without trying our famous jumbo wings. They do not disappoint. Coach's Corner. It will sure to become your local bar. Again, we are located at 8118 West 143rd Street in Orland Park. Come see us today.
Fozzie football, are you ready, brother? Real football action on a glossy game surface played shuffle style. Slide a shuffle puck at pass or run targets, and a free mobile app keeps track of every game detail. Easy to learn, but this game of skill is difficult to master. Take care of the ball, or turnovers will kill your drive. The game is guaranteed to get your competitive fire burning, and it's perfectly sized to take anywhere. The park, a barbecue, your next tailgate, or fun at home on game night. Fozzie football is simply the best, most realistic and competitive game of football available anywhere. Add defense when your skill improves and take the game to the next level. The perfect mix of fast action and real football drama, where a last-second Hail Mary can break hearts or make champions.
All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Here again, live at the Whistle Sports Bar and Grill Studios in beautiful downtown Lockport.
The Whistle Sports Bar and Grill 159.
159.
With
yes,
Whistle Pig.
Yes,
Yeah.
with Whistle Pig.
This is a cool little clubhouse.
Yeah,
This
it's a guy's house tonight. It's a guy's house. We got plenty of
Look at
booze
this.
flowing.
Yeah.
Look at that. We got Pendleton. We got some Whistle Pig. We got some Tito's.
You got some
La Crema.
And prisoner.
The prisoner. We got some Don Julio over here.
I was waiting for Tom Waddle to bust through the door.
He might when he sees that prisoner.
He loves a
right?
prisoner.
I know.
He really does.
So who's driving me home?
It's a question. What I want to know.
Who's going to drive you home tonight?
All right, so yeah, we're hanging out. Now we went through the baseball, went through some other bullshit. Let's talk about the Bears guys here. Obviously, Roquan put on the PUP list, which is a little weird. Physically unable to perform.
Contractually unable.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's exactly what it boils down to. Guys, if the Bears don't sign Roquan Smith, how big of a fuck up is this for the Chicago Bears?
I'd say it's pretty big. I mean, I got to be honest. I know a different regime takes over, and they maybe want to see some things. I don't know what you really have to see from Roquan anymore, but
no.
I've said this on the air in the last week. I mean, you think about all the missteps of the previous regime, all the fuck ups with Kevin White trading up for Mitch, Adam Shaheen in the second round. Hopefully Cole Kmet's good. I guess we'll hold out a little hope, but I mean, Cole Kmet was a second round pick and has done very little.
He's done nothing.
Whom I'm forgetting somebody too, probably in there. I mean, just all the missteps. The one hit was Roquan. Yeah. Anthony Miller was a second round pick. Yeah. That's a good point, Freddie. Again, they traded up, I think, to get Anthony Miller.
Yeah. Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd. You know, it's like when you think about all the fuck ups.
He's the classic example of go elsewhere and flourish.
And you know, when you're playing with Aaron Donald, it's a little bit easier, obviously. But with all the fuck ups, Roquan has been the consistent player, and I think he plays at a Pro Bowl level, even though he hasn't been to one yet. I mean, he's close. He's right there. I'm a little surprised. Now, maybe Roquan's saying I need $110 million, and
no,
the Bears
are
like,
110. Well, you know what?
We can't do that.
We should get Darius, Shaq, Leonard money, which is what, 98.
I think he should get somewhere. He should get somewhere
him
from
and Fred Warner.
Yeah. Somewhere between 90 and 95 million.
Right.
If Roquan is willing to do that, I'm not, and maybe he isn't. In fairness to the Bears here, maybe he isn't. If that could get it done, I'm a little surprised it's not.
Well, here's the thing. He doesn't have an agent. He's representing himself. So there are no leaks and there's no back and forth. So we have no updates.
Right.
And if he knows what he's doing, I think eventually it's going to get done. I can't ever see him not playing. Free agency, he won't be able to go to free agency if he sits out.
If he sits out,
they'll still own him, right?
Yeah.
So
he doesn't accrue a season.
He's going to play. It'll eventually happen. But who was I reading the other day? Talked about his body type and how Eberflus had all these long-armed, long-legged, gangly, big reach, used car balloon guys playing linebacker, and Roquan's more compact.
Yeah,
and he's not gonna get in a 3-point stance and rush the passer, but he's good on blitzes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But alluding to the fact that maybe Eberflus is not his kind of guy. Well, I think that's bullshit. You want Roquan. He's the only sure thing you have.
Yeah, he's a good player. You want
he's
good
the
player.
only sure thing you have.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a lot on the defensive side of the ball that's proven. And I think he's proven that I think they're very open to moving him to the weak side linebacker position too, which he might flourish in.
Right.
And I think to me, he's their best player, period. I mean, there's nobody on offense, unless Darnell Mooney surprises the hell out of us. Maybe Fields gets better. I think their best player is probably Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
And certainly, I think he's their best defensive player.
I don't think there's any question about it.
He's 100% their best defensive player.
Maybe, your
There's
girl
no
argues
doubt about
Robert
that.
Quinn is still
Okay,
but
Robert
I don't
Quinn,
know.
yes. Okay, I gave a lot of shit to Robert
After
Quinn.
1 year. I mean,
after his first
2 years ago, he was not.
I think
last
Roquan's
year,
their best player.
I gave Robert
I give
Quinn
Robert
a
Quinn
lot
a
of
pass.
shit.
I ripped him too, but he was hurt.
He was. 2
hurt.
years ago, he was hurt.
Last year he flourished at 10 and a half, 12 and a half sacks? Something like
18 and a half.
that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Franchise
he was
record.
nuts. Yeah,
18 and a half.
Let's talk about training camp right now. They've only been in pads for a few days, but still, the offense looks horrible. By everybody's account. Mooney's dropping balls.
Yes.
Fields, it's funny to talk about this superstar out of Ohio State who's already through his rookie year. Granted, my whole thing with Fields last year was, look at him on the sideline. He's so smug and arrogant. He's too cool
we doing
for
the Jay
school.
Cutler thing again?
And he's like, he's not in an iPad. He's not talking to other players. He's not talking to coaches. Well, we finally realize, and I had to correct myself, he saw Matt Nagy as a fraud and the coaching staff was bullshit.
Right.
So he said, I'm checked out. Because
Right.
remember the famous soundbite. I learned more from Nick Foles and Andy Dalton in the quarterback room, and the coaches are telling me the exact opposite. And I'm going with the veteran quarterback. So he put it in their face then. And so now I'm giving him benefit of the doubt. And now Eberflus is like, oh, his footwork is so much better and his release is tighter and quicker. And I'm like, shouldn't he have already been there? But again, you blame it on Nagy and you give him the benefit of the doubt.
We have our guy here in the checkers. Felt Roquan is the best player on the team. Lock him up now.
Yeah.
What are we waiting for? Especially now with Eberflus taking over, he's going to have him in the best position in situations we've yet to see. And I agree with that.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, the defense is always ahead of the offense in training camp, but nobody has looked good on offense at all.
Yeah.
Nobody, and Cole Kmet, to your point. If you have a young quarterback you're trying to develop, he needs the safety valve, which is the tight end,
guy.
and he's done nothing. And aside from trying to wiggle out of a couple of ankle tackles that made him look like he was yards after catch guy, he really has done nothing.
Have we really ever seen him truly get separation and
Have we ever truly seen him catch a ball without having the ball hit him in the fucking chest first?
I've seen him drop a few, too.
Come on, let's go here.
Drop a few, fumble a few.
I'm more worried about the lack of separation. I mean, I think that you can look at that.
He's
and you
not
wonder.
Kittle. He's not that guy.
Well, nobody is.
No.
He's no one, but you drafted him at that position to be that type of player, and he's just not that guy. Sorry, okay, forgive me. I hate anybody.
He's
who
not
comes up
Kittle.
with
He's
a
not
name.
Kelsey.
All right, seriously, I truly do.
He's not a lot of tight ends in the league right now. He's not Dawson Knox in Buffalo. He's not the kid in Dallas. He's not Zach Ertz. He's not Dallas Goddard. He's not Darren Waller.
Right.
He's not even
Darren Waller.
Yeah,
Darren Waller's legit.
Darren Waller's awesome.
Yeah,
that team's
not any of them.
He's not Schultz. He's not.
No, he's not Schultz.
Even the
not
backup
Knox.
down there.
Yeah,
the backup down there in Dallas.
Yeah.
He's not that guy.
He's not any of them right now.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
it's-
you just but he's your guy. You've got to stick with him right now. You got no other choice.
Yeah,
he's your guy.
So if he's not the safety valve, what about your running backs? You're gonna have to run the ball a lot.
Well, I
And
heard
I think
today.
they plan on it.
I heard today that there was a lot of dumb passes in the offensive game. Today, first practice for the Bears in pads.
First pad of practice.
There was a lot of dumb passes to David Montgomery in the backfield.
Okay, before the show started, we were sitting here talking about running backs, and the Bears have Montgomery and they have Khalil Herbert, who are both guys that I like.
Love them.
I like watching.
I like them.
Okay, prototypical.
In a couple years, get rid of them and get new ones.
That's right.
And that's
Because
you're
running backs
though.
are disposable.
You're right.
Carmen couldn't care less about running backs, and I understand that. But I'm thinking that the Bear, Eberflus coming from Indianapolis, even though I know he wasn't on that side of the ball, but they ran the ball. I got a feeling he's going to run the ball. He's got two guys that can run the ball.
They also don't have Jonathan Taylor. They don't have that line. Most importantly, they don't have Indy's line.
No, they don't. But they brought in three guys.
They got better with signing veterans.
I'm assuming they'll run the ball.
They brought in Riley Reef. They brought in other guys.
And they're so interchangeable. I mean, and I'm sure they'll do fine. I have confidence that David Montgomery can successfully run the ball for them. I mean, I think at times we saw it last year. It's that part it's very fungible at this point. I mean, unless you are, like Jurg always says, Barry Sanders, Yeah, there are some guys that you could look at and you say, they're a little special. Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, even those guys I wouldn't pay.
Regressing.
The league's changed way too much.
Yeah, it has.
Barry Sanders, I'm still upset with him. I get it. It's his life. It's his career. One more year, Barry. You could have been the all-time rusher. Emmett Smith does not deserve it. Never did. I could have run behind that Dallas O-line.
You're right about that.
And I think the 3 greatest running backs of all time, just based on moves and speed, and everything else.
This is interesting.
Barry Sanders, O.J. Simpson, and Gale Sayers.
I never saw Gale. I didn't see prime OJ either. Obviously,
Gale's the best.
Sprinter speed, incredible moves.
You know Peyton on that list?
No.
Well, I'm just talking about speed and moves because I catch hell for that all the time about Peyton.
Yeah,
Peyton is just the most powerful back.
Yes,
ever.
he was.
He was. I mean, even more powerful than Earl Campbell and
not Jim Brown, but
not Jim Brown.
No.
But who else am I thinking about?
That is.
No, he was he was a bus. He was a bull. But Walter was stronger than those guys, but he didn't have the speed or the moves. He would just go through you.
Yeah.
So, you could put down Walter as the greatest athlete in NFL history for sure.
The greatest overall running
back. With just speed and moves. Barry Sanders, OJ, and just look at Gale Sayers.
Okay, so now I'm going to play devil's advocate here. You guys are fucking old.
Yeah, right. A little bit. But here's the thing. I used to say this to all my interns.
You guys
Carmen,
I was one of his interns.
Carmen was one of them, and we'd give. First of all, we'd have the CFL quiz, and you had to name all the CFL teams.
With 2 teams had the same name.
Yes, right. The Rough Riders,
Alouettes, and the Rough Riders.
But the Ottawa Rough Riders are now the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Yeah,
so there's only one Rough Riders, and that's Saskatchewan.
So you got to be careful.
We would make them do that quiz. But the other thing, I would say something, and Andy Weinberg and other interns like that would go, "How was I supposed to know that? I wasn't even born." Do you know about George Washington and Abraham Lincoln?
Oh my God! Exactly.
You have to know your history. You have to know where it came from.
Yes.
You have to know where it came from.
My question was this: where do you guys put Adrian Peterson at?
I love AP. I think
come on, Adrian Peterson. In my day,
you mean the Bears, Adrian Peterson?
No. Adrian Peterson, Minnesota Vikings. Where do you put him at?
Probably the best I've seen in the last 20 years.
I mean, seriously, that's you guys are a couple.
You know what?
You're what, 45?
45.
Okay, so you're 10 years older than I am.
I'm 80.
All right.
Yeah.
You're not 80.
And the last 20 years, this century, 80 would be there for me. Probably number 1. LaDainian Tomlinson would be up there.
Right.
Where do you put Sean Alexander?
Sean Alexander was phenomenal
because he was in Seattle. Nobody knew that.
And it was a little bit short-lived. As often is the case with running backs. There was probably a 5 or 6 year period where Sean Alexander was unfriggin' believable. And that's a good call.
You know what soiled it a little
Priest
bit
was
for
great,
me?
but it was short-lived.
Adrian Peterson, the fact that he wouldn't quit in Redskins and Lions, and you see him in these different uniforms, and he's still trying to just pile up more yardage. That diminished it for me.
But the funny thing was,
a little bit. Yes, I agree.
He lost his speed. He lost his power.
But he actually played pretty well in
Washington. He still had a few stretches where
a couple of nice games.
Where do you guys fill in? Help me out here. Earthquake. Seattle, New Orleans. Running back, Seattle.
Beast mode.
Beast mode.
I love Marshawn.
Marshawn Lynch. Thank you so much.
I wouldn't put Marshawn quite on.
I thought you were going to go Ironhead Hayward.
Ironhead Hayward, baby. Oh, Ironhead.
Sorry.
I don't think I'd put Beast mode probably with those other guys we mentioned necessarily.
He was pretty
He's
awesome,
fun, though.
Man.
And he was a badass. I mean, he was tough and he was physical and he is another guy
and
who run
could
right
have scored
over
the
you.
winning touchdown in the Super Bowl.
It's so funny that he never liked to talk, and now he won't shut up.
And now he's everywhere. I love it. But he's entertaining.
You notice how those guys always become media darlings?
Yep,
afterwards?
always. It's amazing.
And all the players, all the former players, Mike, that we all had to deal with, they were such pricks when they were playing.
Yep.
And then when they retired, they're like, "Hey,
how
you doing,
love you, buddy?
What are you doing?"
Like Olin being in the media is hilarious.
Oh yeah,
love you,
Like,
buddy.
it's
Well, his
absolutely
career's
hilarious.
over.
So
Before
we keep on talking about Bears, I do have one question I want to ask you guys because this is something from
you can ask a lot of questions. It's our show.
I know. Well, this. Well, I feel like I'm kind of like moderating this type of deal because you guys know it all.
I don't think so.
I'm just some poop dick over here on the side.
I'm here to steal all your guys' stuff.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
Okay, so obviously the decision came down yesterday for Deshaun Watson. Now, there's one thing that I say all the time on this podcast. Everything on my shows, I don't discuss race, sex, religion, or politics.
It's a good
bullshit
move.
yesterday with Deshaun Watson makes suspended 6 games. We have seen guys blackballed out of the league for way less than what this guy's done. We've seen Josh Gordon suspended 28 games for smoking weed. Charlie Blackmon smoking weed. Two of the best possible, could have been the best possible receivers of all time.
Calvin Ridley betting on
Ricky
games.
Williams,
right?
Calvin Ridley suspended for an entire year for betting $500 on a fucking Atlanta Falcons game. If he wants to bet on the Atlanta Falcons, it's his own goddamn fault.
Good luck to
let's get real here.
Well,
All
Matt
right?
Ryan's gone now, so maybe it'll be okay.
How do you guys? I want to ask you guys individually. How do you guys feel about what weighed down on Deshaun Watson yesterday with the 6 games?
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of pieces. A lot of people misconstrued. The NFL did not issue that statement and did not make the ruling.
Right.
It was collectively bargained with the players' union. You would have an independent arbitrator instead of Roger Goodell deciding these punishments now. So they get this former federal judge, a woman, Sue Robinson, who has no experience whatsoever in this line of law or punishment. And then she issues the terse statement saying this was egregious. He's a predator. This is the worst sexual misconduct, nonviolent violation. And I'm like, what sexual misconduct is not violent?
Right.
Really, it's against somebody's will, first and foremost. So then she rips him and saying, this is the worst thing ever. So I'm going to impose a horrible punishment of 6 games. Why? Because when Goodell was doing the ruling, the biggest punishment was 3.
She's going on precedent.
She's going on
which
precedent.
judges
So,
do. I mean,
so I'm going to double it and make it 6. Ooh. Well, now the NFL probably has to file an appeal to make them look good in a PR move and say, we want a year or to try to save face, or they'll just walk away from it and they'll take heat for about 2 days. And then we're all so addicted to the sport. We're addicted to the product. We need it. It's part of our culture. It's our social life. And so everybody's going to go back to watching the NFL every game. Nobody's going to boycott, and we just move on. Just the list of all the violations, of all the horrible things that players have done. Look at O.J. Simpson got away with double murder.
Yeah.
And he's out of prison. And then you can talk about Ben Roethlisberger.
He's on the golf course every day.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger and his
life.
stuff. Violations you forget about. So my problem is the independent arbitrator, that was a wrong choice and it didn't work. So you know what's going to happen? The CBA, they're going to redo it, and Goodell will go back to being the guy levying the fines and the suspension.
Somehow he still has that power because they can appeal, and he ultimately is the person, and then judges off of that appeal. The whole thing is kind of weird and cockamamie. I mean, it really is. And she's going on basic precedent, which again, because of considering her background, I mean, that's in the legal space she's always operated. That's what they do. To me, it's like when then the other side of it, people say, well, he was never charged with anything in 2 separate projects.
Civil, criminal,
right? He, like Sylvie made a good point. Mark Silverman did. He goes, he basically was using. He was kind of using
the massage people
as like what's the app? A Tinder.
Yes.
Basically like, hey, I'm going to book you, and then I'm going to take my towel off and come play with me a little bit. Yes or no? Swipe left or right. And that's not right considering his status in the league. And there is language that says you can't embarrass the league, and that's why there is discipline, even though he was never had formal charges brought against him because the grand jury decided not to. I mean, he was obviously doing something extremely inappropriate, wrong. He knew it. We all know it. We do, whether charges were brought against him or not.
He's not remorseful, and
he's not remorseful one bit.
And the investigation was flawed because 25 women filed the civil suit. One got thrown out immediately. Of the 24 remaining, they interviewed 4. I'm sorry, they interviewed 10, and she only based her decision on 4. So I mean, that's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. 1/6.
That's
incredible.
Ridiculous. How could that
insane?
How could that even happen?
I don't know how it all
So
happened.
now the Browns are the pariah. So you have to hate the Browns and root against the Browns for what that owner did and everything else.
Browns are going to brown, man.
But every team in the NFL has had criminals. Every team.
Yes, they
every
especially the Oakland Raiders.
Well, So now the Browns are just the latest, and the Texans are at fault too.
Yes,
this was going on
that's
forever.
That's the biggest fucker up.
Sounds like they might have been complicit in the whole thing.
They were giving out fucking NDAs to these massage therapists. Are you kidding me?
Not good.
But here's the thing that makes
that's
no
not
sense.
cool. That's not cool at all.
Yeah, this makes no sense to anybody, and I took a lot of shit on Twitter for this. But I'm a Great Lakes guy, like being from Buffalo. We associate with Chicago, Detroit, and Cleveland. We have nothing to do with New York, New Jersey, or Long Island. And that weird accent and the way those people act. And by the way, the Buffalo Bills are the only team actually in New York State. It's just like upstate New York and Western New York. It's like Chicagoland and Southern Illinois. It should be two separate states. Right. So I would always feel this kindred spirit with the Great Lakes teams. But now we have to cut the Browns out. We have to cut them out for now. But again, every team has had criminals throughout the history of the NFL. The NFL is a mega evil conglomerate, and nothing's going to get fixed. And women are still discounted to the point where this is just going to blow over, and they move on. It's horrible. It's horrible.
It's terrible. But the thing is, I heard a lot of people today saying that they were surprised that all the fans, the Browns fans, were there welcoming. It didn't surprise me in the least.
No, it doesn't.
No, because
you have a winning fucking quarterback.
They want them to win. They have no quarterback. Otherwise, who's a QB?
Right.
If he's not.
But see, to make that more important,
Jacoby Brissett.
Oh my
God.
To
make that
He's
more
not bad.
No,
but he is your classic
trusty
backup.
Exactly. Yeah, he is. He's done it
like
everywhere.
Case Keenum. You can trust him.
He's done it. What? New England,
Indiana. Just a little college effort. You know what I mean? A little college.
But see, look at the way we went. Now we're right back to they need a quarterback. They need to win.
Who's good?
And now we just forget about all the social injustices.
Right, which is shit, isn't it?
It's
It's
awful.
our world. It's our world.
Nice.
And everybody says we're all hypocritical and everything because we're going to be right back on the NFL bandwagon. It's just that something.
That's my religion.
Something
on
has
Sundays,
to be.
man.
It's everybody's religion.
It's everyone's religion.
I don't go to church. I start camping out at 9:30 in the morning. I'm cooking meatballs and drinking fucking.
I would
vodkas at
watch
9 o'clock.
9 hours of football every Sunday, and now you got Thursday night, you got Sunday night, you've got Saturdays during the end of the season.
It's stupid, isn't it?
This Thursday night football, the matchups were always awful. Now
they're getting better.
I
think teams are figuring out the rhythms of that after a handful of years now. They're kind of understanding how to prepare for that short week. Because I said it when it happened. I'm like, this is not going to be good. It's too quick of a turnaround.
Right.
But I think they're sort of figuring out the rhythms.
And you need to expand the rosters a little bit.
I feel like I watch the Jets and Jaguars every fucking Thursday.
Even the good matchups on paper early on, I think, never really materialized because it's just a hard thing to get those players to have such a quick. Teams at a great disadvantage.
Teams like the Bills are playing on Thursday night. They're playing on Thanksgiving. They're playing on Christmas against the Bears here.
Yeah, Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah,
Christmas Eve?
noon game.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go to the game and then I'm going to fly to Colorado.
There you go,
my kids. But no, the thing is, it's always going to be more and more and more. And I hope they never do. They keep saying we'll never do Friday night because of high school football,
which I
in the
think
South and in this country. I hope they hold to that. But the product is somewhat watered down, and we still love it. We can't live without it. And the Jaguars should move to London because they play there every year.
But don't they still talk about adding more teams?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think
at least 2 more. And I think right now the schedule's perfect. You got 32. It works perfect. You got 16. I mean, it works great.
And it's always the same city.
I thought adding the 17th game was a joke.
Now they'll add an 18th.
I know.
They'll balance it. 17's weird. They're going to go to 18.
You knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
I hated adding the extra game because
they're going to.
How many times do you say, well, they'll be 13-3? I mean, 14-3 or 13-4 or whatever.
The season's long. I mean, you get to December now, and they're still. Think about when they add an 18th game. We're going to get to December 1st, and there's going to be 6 weeks left.
And once again, I was
around. It's going to be awesome, though.
It's awesome, but
it's awesome.
Listen, it is awesome, but it also is going to make it harder and harder to figure out like who's real, who's not.
Right.
Like it's like that process keeps getting like pushed later and later. I mean, because December 1st, normally back in the old days, you kind of knew by Christmas or New Year's Eve the season was over. The playoffs were starting in January. We're going to get to December 1st in a few years, guys. We're going to have 6 weeks of the season left. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
So when does my least favorite thing in all of sports kick into the NFL?
Pro Bowl.
No. Load management.
Yeah.
I don't watch the NBA at all.
Neither.
I watch every Bulls game, and I don't watch the rest of the NBA. load management is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. When you see a guy like Michael Jordan who's played 82 games, and you see a guy that plays a game on a Saturday and can't play Sunday. You see guys that can't play on consecutive days. Now it's happened to baseball.
Right.
Yeah. A guy can't play 2 games
Tim
of a doubleheader.
Anderson,
Tim Anderson, who misses a week and a half and can't play 2 games of a doubleheader.
Once again, a quick hit on Tim Anderson. Great talent. Still not a great fielder, but awful with the glove. Tries to be too slick. Can't make the routine play. Tremendous at the plate, obviously, but he's not a leader. I don't see him as a superstar. He's an all-star, but he doesn't carry himself. And the whole umpire incident the other day, you're the leader of your team.
Can't happen.
That can't happen.
How do you appeal? How do you appeal that?
They automatically appeal.
I know, but what he should have done is said, listen, my fault. I'm out for 3 games.
Yeah.
Do it that way. Then maybe you're showing a leadership. Now this appeal, when's it going to happen? When you're in Texas next week, when they got Bellinger and other guys coming up against you?
Well, talking back to the NFL, once again, I'm so old. I remember the 14-game schedule. And it was hard to adjust.
I do too.
The stats, no face masks. The stats trying to adjust to 16 games.
Now you're going 18.
Well, you can't compare running back numbers now, that whole thing. So it will go 18. It'll go 18 for sure.
The Super Bowl is going to be at the end of February, guys, pretty soon. That's just that's the way it is.
And everybody eventually. That'd be awesome.
It shortens the gap between that and March Madness.
And March Madness, then spring training.
I mean, it's good. Everybody's going to make the playoffs in every league. In every sport.
And participation trophies will be awarded to everybody.
Really, I remember. I think it was like 1983 when I was working at Channel 5, and I made a crack about the NHL playoffs. You play 1,500 games to eliminate Winnipeg. But that is what it's going to be in every league.
Well, and you're not far off because, I mean, you know this, and Carmen probably does too, but the NHL used to have 21 teams.
Yes.
And they would play the entire NHL season to eliminate 5 teams.
Yes.
16 of the 21 made the playoffs.
Which is
and
crazy.
It was like the most stupidest thing you ever see.
Yeah.
If you don't make the playoffs in the NHL, your team
you're working hard to not make the playoffs.
And the thing is,
now
your team
it's
stinks if you don't make the playoffs.
Back then, Vancouver would make the playoffs all the time, despite those bad satanic priests.
Remember those
the black V with the orange and yellow?
They were awful.
Because I'm the big uniform guy.
Those uniforms were
okay. So you're a big uniform guy. People ask me all the time. They go, "Hey, you worked in sports. What do you think of the new uniforms? What do you think of the South Side? What do you think of the Boston Red?" I don't care.
I like the South Side ones.
No, but I don't care.
It's marketing.
Jersey's cool.
It's in the point. Wear whatever you want to wear.
I like the hat. But it's all name, just extra money. It's
and I was never a Seinfeld guy, and I worked at a station. No, these guys knew every damn line.
Pretty big.
Yeah.
Between him and Zetterman and Silva.
Me too.
Okay.
Seinfeld's great.
Yeah, I remember my college friends.
On this one, Fred.
Yeah. My college friends and I, for one solid year, only spoke to one another in quotes from The Godfather.
Yeah, we always thought
Godfather.
But we'd be like, pass the sugar. A lot of money in that one.
Well, James, you had a big dick up. Let's talk about that. You had a big dick up with James Conn earlier in the year.
Well, we had we had him on his birthday.
He was
right?
asleep.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
He couldn't hear us, and he was, he had said he had just
now
had a back operation. Now poor Jimmy Conn is dead, and Ray Liotta and Tony Rico. I know.
I saw a funny
Sorvino just died.
I saw a funny meme today, or it was the what's the movie with him and Kathy Bates?
Misery. They kept breaking his legs.
Yes,
God.
Well, it was a meme, and they took out Misery, and they put Footloose.
I
was fucking dying. I couldn't stop laughing. I was like,
you mean right when he died, somebody did that?
I mean, how could you do that right when the great James?
See, that hurts me when you see even like Bill Russell. When Bill Russell passed.
It was today. It wasn't
Nobody
the day
better.
He died. It was today.
Well, still, I don't like it. You better not say one bad thing about Bill Russell. Nobody should.
I can't.
No memes.
I'll have to wait.
Oh, stop.
My dad was the executive producer of the Bulls in the 70s, and Red Auerbach and Bill Russell were there, and Auerbach was smoking a cigar, and my dad was there, and they were asking him to put the cigar out. My dad, and they got into a little thing.
Yeah,
Red Auerbach.
Well, Red, he could be a red ass, of course.
Oh, yeah,
he was a prick.
But
Russell,
he did great stuff. He did wonderful
too
things.
soon.
He was a great player.
Too soon.
Well, Red Auerbach is a prick. Who cares?
Yeah, right.
He's been dead a long
He's
time.
been gone for a long time.
And he was a prick. Who cares?
Too soon.
He'd be happy to
I mean, he basically integrated the Celtics, and
yes,
he did. Bill Russell was the greatest leader, arguably top 2 or 3 greatest players of all time, civil rights activists, socially aware.
Yeah.
And all the white fans in Boston, all the bigots, all the racists hated him and booed him, but they wanted him to entertain them. It was a weird thing.
Crazy,
yeah.
He was player coach, 11 rings, like 5-time MVP, everything. But most of all, greatest leader with that hyena laugh. Yeah. Jackie McMullen told the best story. She was one of the few people around who actually interviewed Russell regularly because she covered the Celtics. She was 5 years old when he was playing, but she was 25 when he was doing their games.
Yeah.
And he was always part of the organization. So when she first got in the business, she went up to one of the old curmudgeon cigar smoking beat writers and said, "Do you think Bill Russell would talk to me if I could do a sit down with him?" He was like, "No friggin' way. He's a jerk. He's an asshole. He hates us. He'll never do it." Russell overheard that conversation down the hall, and she went up anyways and just said, "Mr. Russell, would you mind?" "Absolutely, dear. Anything you want." And then he's F you to that guy.
Start Jackie's career. I love it.
That's awesome. To go through those times, the 50s and 60s,
oh my God,
as a black man in Boston and being the greatest player and the greatest leader and the most
the
socially
winner,
conscious guy.
Yeah, and kicking the shit out of Wilt Chamberlain a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
Psyched him out every game.
That's what I mean.
And he was great friends with Wilt, and they'd have dinner all the time, and he would just get in his head and just beat him all the time.
Yeah. I know. That was great.
We digress, though.
Basketball back in those days was wonderful. I mean,
I remember basketball was good.
No, it wasn't.
Just because
Bob Cousy dribbling with one hand.
Seriously, it's better than this bullshit now where everybody fucking teams up and.
Well, that is a different story. But the skill level, is
of course, the skill level.
The athletes,
the skill level in every sport.
I will take the 97, 98 Bulls over every fucking team in NBA.
Which rule? Fred will love this.
Which rules?
Any rules?
I respect the hell out of the athletic ability of soccer players.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I hate the game. I think it's ridiculous.
Still don't understand it. Still don't know it.
Yeah, score a goal. It's right. You put a ball in the net. It's pretty easy.
But you're right. Their athleticism is.
And their cardio.
Probably don't appreciate
it. The field's too big. The rules are stupid. I still don't know what offsides is. Red
I
card.
don't understand the goddamn time.
Yellow card.
I keep on saying this to Fred.
Take and dive.
What the fuck is up with the time?
I just see the Snickers thing. It's like extra time.
I thought this game was 90 minutes. Why is it 102? What the fuck is going on?
If you're at a game, once it hits 90, nobody in the stands knows how much time's left.
Right.
Yeah, none of them.
So then when the MLS came in, they tried to Americanize it. So all the teams had nicknames like every other team. Now it's just your United FC Sporting. That's it. And the name of the city. Every city has two teams now. They have like what? How many teams do they have?
There's a lot. There's like 20 something.
There's like 30 something, isn't there?
Not yet, I don't think. It was 24,
26. Premier League starts this weekend.
I live right next door to Soldier Field. I just walk under the tunnel. I'm there.
What's Premier League?
English Premier League.
That's
Premier
League soccer
in England.
We're going to be watching it, Nick and Ivy.
Oh, Freddie, you love it.
You're one of those guys who would go to Fido at 4 o'clock.
I'll be going to Fido. Yeah, for the World Cup, I'll go.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's fun. And the World Cup this year is ridiculous because it's in Qatar or Qatar, which however you want to say it. And Jeremy,
and if you lose, they bury you.
Exactly.
They kill you.
Jeremy
chop your feet off.
Jeremy Shep has said it both ways, so I guess I'm okay saying it either way.
I think it's Qatar.
It's Qatar.
I think it's Qatar.
No, it's Qatar. It looks like it should be Qatar.
Yeah, but anyway, they're starting like Thanksgiving week.
It's the Friday. The Monday of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The U.S. plays Friday after. That's going to be fun.
Like
I'm actually looking forward.
England,
England, I think is the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Mexico recently played Ecuador in a friendly at Soldier Field, and I live right next door.
God.
So
it's
packed. The pageantry, it's crazy. I get it. The emotion, it's nuts. I mean, we mock soccer fans for it being so crazy. I mean, we're just as bad.
Yeah.
Can I bring the vuvuzelas or whatever the fuck they are?
Oh yeah.
That was
no, please.
Old school.
The Fire's only a point out of the playoffs right now.
Is that right?
They've won. Yeah, they have not lost in like 6 games.
I know enough about soccer to know that MLS soccer is like the 10th best league in the world.
But
at least, it may be even worse. Right?
Oh, what's it? Yeah. No, not that.
Yeah, Premier, Bundesliga,
Premier, Bundesliga,
Serie A, La Liga,
Italian.
You're probably about 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all those guys to finish out their career and make some extra money, they come to the United States. It's like when ball players used to go to Japan.
Exactly.
What's his name?
Bob
Horner, the guy that used to play for.
Georgia.
And he just mentioned, he said, for people that think you come here and it's like really easy, he said, no, that's not the fact. Yeah. The reason is they play a tougher game here. They play a more physical game.
More physical, not as
they play over there.
Because there's less skill.
Yeah, that could be.
That could be.
Less skill.
No doubt.
Wow, we're talking soccer. Let's stop it. Can we stop it?
Yeah,
my brother just turned us
Can we bring
off.
football to football really
Yes, let's go from football to football.
There is something I definitely did want to bring up. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
Yeah, get off.
Get up off me, bitch. The one thing I definitely wanted to bring up today was the news on Tevin Jenkins.
Oh,
all right,
what is the news though?
This is ridiculous. Okay, and I wanted to bring this up. There's obviously he's having a problem with Chris Morgan, the new offensive line coach. He's obviously having a problem with Luke Getsy, the new offensive coordinator.
You're a second-year offensive lineman.
Drafted at 39.
Right.
What do you guys think is the main issue with this? And do you think that it's a possibility, because there's talks out there, rumors out there, that Tevin Jenkins can be traded?
Yes, because he's not Eberflus guy. And a second-round pick, you should be minding your
Should have been a
P's and
first
Q's.
rounder, though, Mark. Should have been a first
I guess
rounder.
he should have, but the thing about him is I didn't think he was that good. And then everybody said, "Oh, look it, he'll fight for his quarterback, and he's picking fights with guys, defensive linemen." They're like, "Oh yeah, no play."
Yeah.
Let me see how you. I don't think he's that good.
But I thought he needed the opportunity. He didn't get a lot of snaps.
He did not.
Borum got like 3 times the
That's
snaps
true.
he got.
Look,
I
think
think
he's
67 snaps total.
And I don't, you have to take my word for it. I mean, I'm not an offensive line expert, but people who are will tell you, will look at him and
You
say,
certainly are, I think.
They'll say he's got talent. Like he's got some talent.
He does have talent.
And it's, can he be coached up to the point where they can make the best out of this? It's a little surprising, even though he's not their draft pick. A year later, a kid who was drafted in the top 40 for them to be like, we're so done with you. You're not going to play.
There's got to be something he
there's
said
something,
or did. There's got to be an
something's off
attitude
about the whole thing. Yeah.
So
and
what
I
do you
don't
get
really
for
know.
him if you trade him?
I can't imagine anybody giving you much.
Oh,
I can't imagine that.
No.
I honestly can't imagine.
5th or 6th.
Knowing the situation, they basically buried him on the depth chart.
Yeah.
He's not practicing. Why would anybody give you a 3rd-round pick for him?
So at least Roquan's on a bike at Hallis Hall. He's nowhere to be found.
No, he's not doing much of anything.
Such a weird thing.
Yeah, it's a crazy story.
That bothers me because, like me, the last 5 years, I've been saying the Bears need nothing but offensive line because the quarterbacks are getting killed over here. All right, they truly are. They're not getting any time back here. They're not getting any time to make a play, so on and so forth. When we drafted Tevin Jenkins, I thought I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
At first, we were live at Nick and Ivy, during the draft party when they drafted Justin Fields. I was fucking livid. Like, why are you taking a guy that's not going to make an immediate impact when you have so many offensive linemen in a row there? You go out, you trade up, you draft Justin Fields. Fine, I get it. After they drafted Tevin Jenkins,
well, listen,
then he was fine.
I was fine. I was like, finally, you got somebody that can protect him.
The history of the Bears is quarterbacks go to die here.
Yeah, well, Jim said it.
So
Jim McMahon said it on the Fat Mike show. Yeah,
and they're panicking, and this has got to be the guy. This has got to be the savior, because you can't keep saying Jay Cutler and Sid Luckman. You just can't keep saying that.
It's
that's how bad.
The bigger indictment is that Johnny Morris is still the franchise's leading
Yeah.
receiver.
Yes, you're right.
You want to talk? Johnny Morris last played football in 1960.
And what did he have? How many catches did he have that year? His biggest year? He had like
Johnny Morris.
I mean, could it have even been 90? Maybe.
No,
I believe Johnny's got about 5,000 yards receiving.
Not even.
Johnny's
not
still with
even.
us.
Yeah, Johnny is.
Oh, yeah.
He was at track all the time.
Yeah.
But now that Arlington's closed, he's great.
I don't know.
He's still steel. I see Bob Vasilopoulos a lot. He was a producer at Channel 2. And he said Johnny's still like steel. He's like 80.
He's got to be in his 80s.
94 receptions.
84.
Okay,
94. That's what I thought.
So Johnny's record is like 4,800, whatever it is. It's not. I don't even think it's 5,000 career yards, and he's the Bears'
and then Dick Gordon, I think, is.
Yeah, he might be.
Dick Gordon.
Which is an embarrassment. I mean, today, the best receivers in the league will get 5,000 yards in – you get that in 4 seasons.
Yeah.
They'll have 5,000 yards. I mean,
number 47.
But Freddie, that's kind of it's still like how could a guy that played in the 60s be the franchise's leading quarter?
And I remember, after long in his 60s and 70s,
our guy Matt has something to say. Matt, what are you gonna say?
5,059 errors.
Okay.
I mean, the best receivers will get there in 4 years.
Yeah,
and the Bears, it's an embarrassment.
So do you have faith? I mean, like Darnell Mooney, a guy that showed he can do.
This is something that I would. This
he
is
loves
my very
Mooney.
next question. Yeah, exactly. What do you think Darnell Mooney? And what do you think of Darnell Mooney? And what do you think his potential is?
Great number 2.
Absolutely, perfectly said.
You're breaking my heart here.
He's a great number
You're
2.
breaking my heart.
He showed flashes of brilliance last year. Okay, once again, we're so early in training camp. He's
Oh, yeah.
dropping everything.
I mean,
but the thing is, he's a little too small to be a number 1. I think, he's a quality 2.
Yes. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Do you see Justin Jefferson? Do you see Jamar Chase?
Yes.
Do you see DeAndre Hopkins? You're
Why
crazy.
Why
you see Justin Jefferson and Darnell Mooney?
Now you're going to yell.
Justin Jefferson is great. Jamar Chase is fantastic.
Who do you think Darnell Mooney could be?
I think his potential at the topmost respect could be Tyreek Hill.
You're out of here.
Oh, wait.
I'm sorry.
Oh, my God.
You're out of your mind.
Good night, everybody. Show's over. Get out. It's a 3-man show. Are you kidding?
I swear to God. His route running, the way he does it, is awesome. Shut up, asshole.
Everyone's calling to hang up on
It's
it.
Grubhub.
You're out of your mind.
No, you're crazy.
He doesn't run routes like Tyreek Hill or like Cooper Kupp. I mean,
the way he gets off the line is great. The way he creates separation.
He's quick.
is
I mean, there's no
fantastic.
doubt he can get separation.
He's
quick.
Tyreek Hill had the same problems coming up, dropping passes out there in KC.
I don't know. I don't see Justin Jefferson. I don't see DeAndre Hopkins.
Justin Jefferson is another.
I don't.
He's
see
on
it.
another level.
He's another.
There's the
I don't see
cheetah,
Devontae
and then
Adams.
there's the cheater.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah,
see
okay.
that.
All right.
I don't see that. But I think if he's fine, I'm not. Nothing against Darnell Mooney at all. I think he's a fine
Well,
player.
here's the thing.
I wanna
He
see
is
Dash
going to be
Newsom
your number
in the
1,
Jets. I really
so get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to. I mean,
Yeah.
how happy are you to?
But
feel?
again, if Moody's going to flourish, you got to get help from Kmet and Montgomery in order for Fields to get him.
Yeah,
to get it to him.
And Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy's
Right.
got to be able to call plays where he gets these guys open. He's got to call plays where he calls a play action. He gets right.
Are you scheming guys open?
There was no separation last year among the entire receiving
I know.
corps.
Very little.
And Getsy came from the Green Bay, where you saw Green Bay at receivers, off Lazard's catching balls all over.
Which
the place.
begs the question: is Robinson going to be good with the Rams? Do you think
My
he'll
guess
be
is
better?
yes.
Everybody
I
says
don't.
yes.
I think he's going to be like a fart in the wind.
Really?
You're not even going to notice him.
The people in LA say
Look,
he's
Robert Woods is
he's gonna be
gone.
really good.
Beckham's obviously gone. Cup attracts a lot of attention. My guess is Allen Robinson will have. I would think he'd have a pretty big year, and I think he'll contribute. I think Allen Robinson's a very good wide receiver.
I do too.
Very good.
Last question I got.
Just
for you
don't
guys.
throw the ball up high because he's never going to win a
Right.
50-50 ball.
Last question I got for you guys is this: Justin Fields. We all know that he's going to be our number 1 starter, and finally our number 1 quarterback. No quarterback competition this year with Andy Dalton or anybody else, Nick Foles, anybody like that.
No Trevor Siemian competition.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
A little bit.
What a great job! He's going to be the greatest career backup, holding a clipboard, making a shitload.
Well,
of
look
money.
at look at who the hell was
Chase
it?
Daniels.
Chase Daniels, unbelievable.
$50 million.
He's
I wish I was
$50
Chase
million.
Daniels. Let me tell you.
Me too.
Everybody wishes they were.
Me too.
Yeah, I'd wash jock straps with my mouth for fucking $50
You're-
million.
You might do that for
The best
$5
jobs
million or $5?
Five.
Just wash it out with this.
Yeah,
The best jobs in sports are always backup goalie, backup quarterback, backup catcher.
Yeah.
I mean, you're kind of just sit around.
And in the
Nothing.
NFL, fans love the backup quarterback.
Always.
Right.
Loved him.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
The last question I got for you guys, and I want you guys all to answer. What do us as Bear fans and people in the media, obviously all of us are sitting here doing this.
Used to be.
What do we need to see of Justin Fields this year?
You want stats? You want numbers? You want goal? Is that what you're looking
what-
for?
what do we
Or
need to
something
see?
that you could see that would say,
What-
okay, he's getting
he's
it.
the guy.
He might be getting it, and the stats might not be great because I don't think they're going to be a very good team.
Right.
I think you have to see that. I think you have to see a quarterback that is understanding, that is processing what's is in front of him. Is he on time? Is he going through his reads? Is he on time with the ball? If you see those things, even if the stats aren't great, you might say, hey, the kid's getting it. And if they add more around him, he'll be a legitimate quarterback in this
And that's
league.
exactly what Eberflus is saying publicly to the media and to fans. Look we might only win 5 games, but if we see that in Fields, Next year's the year you can demand us to be in the playoffs and to make some progress.
Does he know where to go with the ball, and is he on time? And if those things happen, I think you'll say, okay,
he ran into a lot of sacks last year.
Yeah, he did.
He was responsible,
especially in Cleveland when I was at that fucking game.
Well,
that game fucking sucked.
He's got to do two things. He can't throw interceptions. He can't fumble the ball.
Right. Yeah, don't fumble the ball. I agree with that.
What did he have? He had 12 fumbles, 12 fumbles, 12 interceptions, something like that. Yeah. So, I mean, you can't fumble the ball. Right. You got to be able to hold on to the ball. If you know your offensive line's not going to protect you, you got to cover up. I mean,
and I think even the most casual fan and the media realize this. If we just focus on his development, then people will be tolerant of this year because I'm saying 5-12.
Well, last
the most they'd win would be 8 games.
11.
Am I wrong to say? Am I wrong to say that you couldn't give Justin Fields a legit grade last year?
Oh, there's no.
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think it's hard.
With the mess of Matt Nagy and everything. It was a fucking disaster.
Yeah,
right?
It was. The Cleveland game was all. I mean, just that whole game plan, the way it started. I think he
was there, got in a fight with a bartender at a bar afterwards.
I did.
Yeah, that was a shit show.
I almost beat the shit out of a bartender there. Yeah, I did.
Over the
That's
I told
you not to go to Cleveland.
No, it was over a drink, I think.
Oh, it was over a drink.
It was over a drink.
Well,
you know what? If you're listening, dickhead, fuck you. I still hate your guts. I still hate your guts.
Don't say take that. You all of a sudden.
Let's remember.
You're just adding fuel to the fire, Carm. Good job.
Let's remember, if you're a Chiefs fan, you have Matt Nagy back in the fold. And
the
coaching staff is your quarterback coach.
Yeah,
You've got bigger, slower receivers now. It's going to be interesting to see if they can.
No more Tyree.
Could you imagine? Can you imagine you're the Chiefs quarterback and all of a sudden Matt Nagy?
Well, I bet you Mahomes probably doesn't care one way or the other. I mean, he was there. He was there Mahomes' rookie year.
I bet Mahomes is really nice to him and very diplomatic, but just like, yeah, sure, coach.
I'm not sure that it matters.
Yeah. And who is this unnamed defensive coordinator and scout who ripped Lamar Jackson and ripped Mahomes, and it was obviously the most racist stuff in the world.
Well, the dumbest thing
saying
was
that I don't care how many MVPs Lamar Jackson wins, he's not going to win a Super Bowl. He's never going to be a number one.
Well, he said it like, I don't care how many MVPs he wins, he'll never be a number one quarterback. It's like, are you fucking stupid?
Yeah.
If he wins 8 MVP awards, he's not a number one.
And then he says Mahomes
what
can't do anything past his first read. And then he just takes off. I'm like, wait a minute. He goes through his progressions while he's running through everybody.
How many?
I don't know how someone in the NFL can say something like that.
No, it was really,
but I will tell you,
racist.
The second half of the AFC title game is still one of the craziest. The head scratching. No, the championship game, the Bengals. The second half, the way they collapsed, I will forever wonder what was going on. Like, what happened to Patrick Mahomes? And I don't know, it might have been Russillo or maybe Bill Simmons, who, in the offseason at some point, after the Super Bowl, had said, do you think he could have had a concussion? And, honestly, how else do we explain?
Seriously.
How else do we explain what happened to Patrick Mahomes on the goal line going into the half?
Yes.
And then what happened in that second half?
Very
It'll
true.
forever be one of the great head scratchers.
Yeah.
I'll never understand
At
it
the same time, that Bills game,
oh, wow.
Sean McDermott, one of the greatest
I watched
coaches,
the highlights forever.
one of the greatest
It's
young coaches
unbelievable.
ever. Okay, you've got 13 seconds, and you play a prevent to the point where you're 18 yards off their receivers, and you allow Mahomes to go right down the field. You had the game, and it's the biggest brain fart in the history of coaching, and they kicked off instead of squibbing it, killing more time off the clock. It was like 2 major mistakes, that everybody's screaming about. And so there's a T-shirt in Buffalo that says wide right, in the crease, forward lateral.
Oh, in the crease.
And now they added 13 seconds. And then it says
Poor
fucked again.
Buffalo. Fucked again.
Because Brett Hull was in the crease.
Yes, he was.
And that Titans game,
Brett
that
Hull
was
in
a
the
forward
crease.
lateral.
Yeah, that's true. I think Buffalo this year, it'll be interesting without Dayball. How does Ken Dorsey take over that offense? But I think the way it ended, and they had to be sitting around the next week watching the Chiefs blow that lead. I think Buffalo is hungry and talented.
They're loaded.
They've got a championship roster. I think Buffalo is. They don't.
But here's the problem.
I think Buffalo's going to do it.
Here's the problem with all of this.
I think Buffalo's going to.
They're favored now.
Well,
that freaks
that's
me out. I hate it.
They need a running back.
Good luck, Marky.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're gonna have to do this again, guys. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, we talked about
this is the best.
This is a fucking lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. Thank you guys for joining us here at 1252 Sports on a special night with special guests, Carmen DeFalco, Mark Giangreco. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Mark and Carmen, thank you guys for bringing all the booze.
Hey, Mark.
This is awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Sleepover.
That's what we're doing. Sleepover. Make sure you guys listen on Friday night for Harry the Greek on the Over Under podcast. He's going to give you all the bets, line your pockets with a bunch of dough. Do what you got to do. And on Sunday morning, do not forget Jacob Charnow and the Hard Count Football podcast. So on that note, guys, we are out of here. Thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate it, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.
Thank you for listening to 1252 Sports Chicago.